For number 11, we're looking at the overhead cost that's assigned to product H2. And this is based on ABC or activity-based accounting. So I'm going to take, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the equipment expense and the supervisor expense and multiply it by the percentages of 50 and 50 because we're looking at machine first, and then I'm going to do the same thing with the order filling. 81,200 times 0.5 is 40,600. Then take 11,200 times that same 50%, and that's 5,600 for a total of 46,200. And then let's do the same thing with the order filling. 81,200 times 30%, and then 11,200 times 20%. Okay. Now we're going to use these figures to figure out what the price is per machine hour and per order filling. I think I need more room, so I'm going to do it up here. For machining, we'll take the 46,200 we just calculated, and divide it by 10,210 machine hours right here. Per unit, we get $4.52. Then the order filling. Take the 26,000 we calculated and divide it by the total orders. $920 per order. Oh, I'm sorry, $9.20. Then to calculate the overhead cost. Take the machining of $4.52 and then multiply it by 9,060. Then the same thing with the order. Then $9.20 times the 2,280 $976, and then add the two together. Okay, our number 12 we're looking at the overhead cost again. So this is another one similar. I'm going to move this up so we can have enough room to work on the problem. Okay. Same thing here. I'm going to take the 40,000 and the 10,100. I'm going to multiply it by the machining. And then I'm going to take it, I'm going to multiply it by the order filling, same as we just did in the previous problem. 40,000 times 0.50. $10,100 by 0.50. And then the same for 40,000 times 0.2 times 0.1 for the machining. Take the number we just calculated, divide it by the machine hours. We get $1.10 per machine hour. And then for the order, the 9,010, and divide it by the total orders. $8.15 per order. Then the final part is the overhead costs. We have the machine at the $1.10 we just calculated, and then we're going to multiply it by the 5,930 machine hours. And then the same thing for the order filling. $8.15 times 140 orders. $7,664. Okay, on to chapter 6. 13 is on chapter 6, and we're looking for the total period cost. We're going to take the variable selling and administrative expenses, which is $5 per unit times 700 units, 37,500. Fixed manufacturing overhead is $260,700, and fixed selling and admin is $120. And this is variable costing total period cost. Okay, and then for 14, we're looking at the variable cost per unit, and we're going to assume that there's no beginning or ending inventories, which makes this problem easier. Direct materials is $48. Direct labor is $25. And variable manufacturing overhead is $9. Variable costing unit product cost. $15 is the same thing. take the direct materials of 131, the direct labor of 65. But this time, instead of variable costing, we're looking at absorption costing. Okay. The variable manufacturing overhead is $12, and then the fixed manufacturing overhead. The calculation for that is the total fixed manufacturing overhead divided by how many units? 3,700. And that is $32 for a total of $240 of absorption costing unit product. Case 16. We're looking for the absorption costing net operating income. Manufacturing overhead deferred in increase from inventory. We're given here that this is a single product, that the variable costing and operating income is $92,400, and its inventory decreased by 3,100 units. Fixed operating is $1 per unit. So this is fixed manufacturing overhead in ending inventory, minus fixed manufacturing overhead in beginning inventory. So this is going to equal $1 per unit times the decrease of 3,100 units, and we get $3,100. Okay. Variable costing net operating income is $92,400. Then we're going to deduct fixed manufacturing overhead of the 3,100, and we get 89,300 of absorption costing net operating income. Remember, the only difference between variable costing and absorption costing is the fixed manufacturing overhead. Okay, 17. We are given some pieces of information. We're given 41,400, and we know that sales is 293,000, and operating income is 28,700. Fixed expenses are 56,700. So let's make this little graph here. Here's the total company. Here's Division A and Division B. Sales for Division B, we know, is 293. Variable expenses, we don't know. Sales minus variable expenses is your contribution margin. We know that the contribution margin is $41,400. And then our traceable fixed expenses. Here, traceable fixed expenses total is $56,700. Then we get our segment margin. Then we have our common fixed expenses. Then that gives us to our net operating income, which we know is $28,700. And what we're looking for is the common fixed expenses. So we're going to have to work backwards. Okay, so that's the given part. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is we 73. We have the 41,000. We have the 27. We have the 290. We have the 564. Okay, so how we're going to do some of this calculation is we can figure out, we can get the division B contribution margin ratio, which is the ratio times sales. The ratio is 0.25. They tell us right here is 0.25. And then we're going to multiply it by the amount of sales. So we get 73,250 for the contribution margin. 73,250. Now that we know that, we can add division A and division B together and get the total company, which is 114,650. Then we can take that, subtract the traceable fixed expenses, and that gives us our segment margin of 50,950. What we're looking for is the common fixed expenses. If we take the segment margin, subtract the net operating income, that will give us our common fixed expenses of 29,250. And then we have one more like this. And it works the same way. Over here we have alpha, beta, total company, and then same thing here. Sales, variable expenses gives us our contribution margin. Traceable fixed expenses, segment margin, common fixed expenses gives us our net operating income, and we're looking for the net operating income. Okay, we're given the sales for beta is 250, and for alpha is 560. We're also given the variable expenses. And then traceable fixed expenses we have is 65,300 and 123,900. And then we know that the common fixed expenses are 123,200. Okay, now to start filling this out, we can add alpha and the beta together to get the total company. That's 810. Same thing with the variable cost. Add the two together to get the company one. And then we have a contribution margin of 357.1. Subtract these two also. And then we can subtract these to get the segment margin. Add these two together to get our total traceable. Subtract the company contribution margin from the total traceable, 167,900. Subtract the common fixed expenses to give us a net operating income of 44,700.